Hey, welcome back to Farmers Voices with myself, Josh Scribe, and Uncle Ramesh. We're back, baby, and we got some updates, and we're gonna keep rolling. Go ahead, Uncle Ramesh.
Pleasant good day, Josh Scribe. It's nice to be back. To our residents in Trinidad and Tobago, our neighbors, our CARICOM neighbors, around the Caribbean, and to the wider world, it's nice to be back. The times continue to be very, very, very trying. COVID is testing us to the limit. And we continue to be strong. And in our country here, the challenges continue with respect to the COVID. In the last few days, last 10 days or so, we had a spike of just about 30. So up to 192 as I speak. The challenge continues, Josh, right?
Yeah. Well, 192 is not as bad as what we got here. Oh my God, it's killing us over here. They have like 150,000 dead, and countless, like 4 million infected. So you guys still doing good. Just now y'all gotta take some more measures to tighten this thing.
Well, just to update you, we were actually about 140 recently, and that went on for months, where we were able to control. We had no cases, but all that 140 cases were basically imported. All right, and since we started to open the borders a bit and allow some emergency flights to come in, the repatriation flights, that has sent up the spike. But more so, our borders, we have some immigrants from around who come in illegally, and that has posed a challenge for us. And tomorrow, the Prime Minister will be addressing the nation, Just Scribe, and I think that we have some clusters that is increasing, and we have not gotten a community spread as such as yet. But we continue to ask people, to wear their mask and to, to observe the new normal. Just right?
Yes, and how has this been impacting the farming community back in Trinidad and Tobago?
All right, so COVID has always been with us, in the last 5 to 6 months or so. We have been able to adjust. We maintain. I don't know if we're still at number one position with respect to the mitigation and the control, etc. All right. Our agricultural situation continue. It has worked to an extent positively, whereby our farmers, expanded some of their crop production, and in a few months' time we'll have a spike with respect to increased production, and that is good. All right, and the wider community did also, do a lot more in their backyard because of the lockdown. People were home and they were able to, do some more, on their own time. The weather has changed, and it's very conducive now, for agricultural production. What we have with us today, is that in 5 days' time, our country will be facing the polls. It continues to be a challenge because in these COVID times, it is challenging from the point of view that a lot of time is spent on the politicking and whatnot, and that too has a dimension in the socio-economic environment. Josh, right?
Yes. We got elections coming up here in 3 months, but are you guys gonna make out with this COVID going to the polls and and voting?
Okay, so good question. Up to last Friday, we could have gathered 25. The numbers of 25 people gathering in public. All right, maintaining your 6 feet distances and whatnot. The Prime Minister made an adjustment, where it has gone down back to 10. I foresee that tomorrow, in that public releases, with respect to the chief medical officer, and the scientific data that will be presented to him, I think there might be a rollback in certain sectors as to how he make the connection with respect to, general elections in 5 days' time. That is going to be a challenge. The campaign has already slowed down a bit, but there's a lot of violations with respect to the COVID rules on the campaign trail by all political parties, and that is not good, describe. So we, in the next 5 days or so, these decisions will impact. We got to be very cautious. Yes, the elections are due. I don't foresee that the elections will be cancelled, but I cannot say the science is not there with me, but the Prime Minister may have that. And he will have to make that call tomorrow, just right?
Yes, because over here, our president wants to cancel elections, but they're fighting him on that. They say, no, that's not what the country is about. Like the elections have never been canceled for nothing, so what are you talking about canceling elections?
Yeah. Well, I want to stay with the COVID a bit, and also to touch on the general elections, which would just basically, I hope that by Monday, we'll be able to complete that one war, that political war, right, and go back to the World War against COVID, in which all of us in the world is really fighting. I understand a cure has not been found fully as yet, but our country here right now, we have to be very cautious and very resilient. And on the agricultural front, with the politics and otherwise, the present government did make some investment in agriculture, and we spoke about the agro-processing cells. All right, and that is something that we will discuss in more details. But there was an investment where the Prime Minister came down about 3 weeks ago and opened 5 shells. It's an agro-processing park. All right, with 5 shells that is readily available, and the TPFA is working to do a proposal, to tweak a proposal to enter one of those shells. So we'll discuss that in a little more detail later on. Also, on the agricultural front, another further investment of $62 million was made into the building of a fishing facility at the Maruga port, which is not too far from the agro-processing plant. All right, and these 2 investments of just above 150 million TT dollars. There's a lot of opportunities for the young farmers and fisherfolk in Trinidad and Tobago. And we will develop on that a little later on and maybe, after the next 5 days or so. So coming back to the COVID, it's very important that we continue to be vigilant. Just right?
Yes. And these times you got to be, this thing is, oh man, wicked. In terms of the politics, are you able to get the members out to vote, or what's going on with that?
Well, basically, our farming groups and whatnot, the politics, we try our best to stay out of it, all right? But how can you not make a connection? Because in one hand, okay, this present government, came in 2015, all right, 5 years ago. And there was a plan to invest, to add value to agricultural products. And that initiative of nearly $100 million investment in the shells for, the 4 major aspects of agriculture, which is our fruits, our root crop, our vegetables and livestock, that is considered. And that was an excellent approach. During that time now, the agencies were supposed to coordinate and, actually have the shells ready and, to have tenants to enter these shells like the TPFA. So we'll continue that conversation, later on. But the actual agriculture investment, it is fantastic. The opposition is claiming, that those investments, are not, that they have other plans, But we as farmers, we are open, we welcome the opportunity, to move forward. All right, and the debate will always continue as to government, opposition, and that sort of thing. So, but at this stage, we welcome the investment and hope that whoever that will be next week, that the plans that we have to enter that shell and other groups, that those plans will continue and not be shut down. Just right.
That's true. That's true. Dialogue with both parties is always good. But as the present government honored its obligation to the farmers of Trinidad and Tobago.
Well, they are creating the opportunities, all right, and we at a time in Trinidad and Tobago where with in the last we had a snap elections 4 weeks ago, all right, where general elections was called, and when that happens, it's everybody's right to support the party, whichever party they want. That is the democratic right that we all have in Trinidad and Tobago, and we enjoy thus far. We saw recently, after 5 months, Guyana was able to sort out their problem, and we hope that they can move forward, now. But in Trinidad and Tobago, it's no different. Election is about, your party, your politics, So, but it has not changed from the tribalism factor, whereby the so-called Indo-Trinidadian factor is on one side and the Afro-Trinidadian factor is on the other side. That is just, a perception, but it's real. All right. And it's a right that we all enjoy. We all agree to disagree. But when we go out to vote, we should think about Trinidad and Tobago, and it should not be on, on a tribal basis. But again, too, I don't want people to misunderstand me, but that is how real it is, Like in America, you have the Democrats and you have the Republicans, but again, to maybe just describe, is there a relation as to a connection as to what we're talking here with the politics in America and in a small country like in the Caribbean?
Well, that's true, because here too we have, tribalism where the Democrat Party is, seen as the party of the minorities, and the Republicans are seen as the party for the rich whites. So yeah, that is all over the world, but it shouldn't be like that. It should be about the party that's gonna represent the best interests of the people. Because at the end of the day, politicians are public servants and they're there to serve the people. Would you agree?
Yes, absolutely. We in our country here, we got to think about Trinidad and Tobago. That is the big picture, all right? And it should not be divided, in any way at all right? But something's happening interestingly, because we have 41 constituted seats in Trinidad and Tobago, 39 in Trinidad and 2 in Tobago. What is happening is that there's some ruffling of some feathers in Tobago, and maybe, if one of the party can get a seat in Tobago, you end up with a situation at 2020 if that happens, and then the Tobago would be able to calling everybody and have some agreement as to which side they would support. But it's very interesting. It's a lively debate, but it's a pity that it's during this COVID time. We hope that if any consideration is taken to hold the election as scheduled for next week, Monday, that the spread does not continue, because there will be further restrictions on polling day. The process may be slowed down a bit, but just picture, let us assume at any one point in time, 100 people outside a polling booth, having to distance themselves, and we in the rainy season here, all these things are going to pose simple challenges. Also, the sanitation measures with respect to, washing your hands before, when you go in there, you may use a pen. You may have to sanitize, when you enter, when you leave, X, Y, Z. These things are going to create some challenges, just right?
Yeah. So, what have you advised your members on doing regarding to precautionary measures exercised during going to polling stations and voting?
Well, the our health sector is very strict about wearing your mask